Hey, hello. Welcome back to our channel. Lovely to see you here. Today we are going to have a play with one of my personal favorite brewers, the Origami. Ta-da! The Origami is a Japanese brewer. It is named after origami itself, the beautiful, delicate paper folding funness, and the origami in a sense. The design is kind of based in a similar way. It's delicate, it's beautiful, it's elegant, it's so nice to look at. It's very similar to the V60, but there are some key differences that do have a big difference in the cup. So usually when we're talking about like coffee brewing, the tiniest little change in a variable will have a huge impact on the flavor in the end. And there are some noticeable differences that we'll dive into here. So for today's video, we'll start with a quick overview and then we'll move on to a simple recipe. Let's go. First things first, the Origami. I cannot skip over the fact that it's so pretty. Design-wise and aesthetically, it's so pleasing. And I mean, it is true that design and making something beautiful does have a big impact on the feeling and the way in which we brew. If you look at something and you're inspired by the way it looks, naturally we're going to kind of treat it differently. Can't avoid that. We are humans after all, and we're attracted to beautiful things. It's a cone-shaped pour-over brewer, not dissimilar to the V60. As you can see, it doesn't have a handle or a base, and they're sold like this. You can get them in porcelain, beautiful fine Japanese porcelain, or you can get them in plastic, which is the Origami Air. And what we have today is an Origami Air in black. Of course, plastic is it's much more thermally stable, or thermal stability, meaning that it will suck the heat from the brewing water a little bit less. With the ceramics, they weigh quite a lot less than the V60 ceramics, which also mean that they are more thermally stable as well. Higher thermal conductivity and better thermally stable. So they preheat relatively quickly because it's porcelain. I'm talking about the porcelain ones. The Origamis come in a variety of colors, usually pastel and super pretty. My God, the colors are beautiful. And yeah, so the design, beautiful. The colors are beautiful. The materials are porcelain or plastic. They come with or without. So if you want the base, you have to buy the base separately. So this is also one note. They're a little bit more expensive than the V60 in general. Plastic V60s you can usually find between like 6 to 8 euros, maybe even cheaper. The plastic Origamis is still, like the Origami Air, is still priced around like 20 euros. So it's substantially more expensive. And then you have to buy, if you want a base, you have to buy it separately. I think they do this because in theory, you can just pop the brewer straight into your brewing vessel. So you don't necessarily need the base. With the bases, you can buy wood or plastic. The plastic has little ribs that actually hold the brewer stable. So it locks into place there. It's definitely more horizontal, like more stable. Or the wood, which is, I would say for me, much more beautiful, but also it can still kind of wriggle, which of course any little variable will have a big difference in the flavor. So yeah, that's something to look at. We'll just keep it like that because I like it so pretty. So the Origami has a slightly larger hole than the V60, but we'll look more into that next time. We'll do another video shortly that will be like a kind of comparison between a very similar recipe, the same recipe, between the two different brewers. Yeah. The Origami has 20 ridges. What this means for us is that we can use two different filters. We can use the wave filters with a flat bottom that are predominantly used in Kalita brewers, and we can also use your standard cone-shaped brewer. It allows us a lot of versatility in regards to experimentation with the different filters and therefore different recipes that we can use. Today we're going to brew with a classic cone-shaped filter, which will allow for a lot of gaps in between. So the filter will be making contact only with these ridges here. So overall, we can grind a little bit finer with the Origami because of the larger hole in the bottom, which allows it will allow the water to draw down quicker. One question comes to mind. Yes, it is beautiful, but can it make delicious coffee? So the 2019 World Brewers Champion won brewing on this device, Jia Ning. I'm so sorry for the pronunciation of that. It's most certainly wrong. So today we're going to be brewing one of the new, as of today's date. So I don't know when you're here with us, but where are we? February 2024. So this is a lovely premium coffee from Colombia, Luis Anibal Calderon. It's a natural anaerobic, heirloom variety with notes of dried fruits, dark chocolate, apple, and spices. Yum. So we're going to brew this in our origami. The recipe is 16 grams of coffee to roughly 240 grams of water poured in, 94 degrees Celsius, and we're aiming for a finished brew of 1 minute 40. Let's do this. I'll just start here. I'll weigh the coffee, then I'm gonna shoot off and leave you guys to hang out here for a moment. Oh yeah. So, this bad boy on for 94 degrees. I've got 16 grams of coffee in my cup. Your grind in general, it can be a little bit finer than V60, but have a play. Medium fine grind, like sand. Tear this guy off, get our filter primed, prepped and ready to go. Pop that in there. 71 degrees water, is it boiling? Yeah, this recipe, like the ratio, the portions and the time, the ratios, proportioning the recipe, the numbers of the recipe and the time is based on the World Champs recipe from 2019, loosely. We'll have a play. The extraction time is definitely a bit quicker than I would normally do for a V60 at 1 minute 40. Of course, it will also depend very much on your grinder and how even the particle distribution is. All right, we're at 94 degrees. Like usual pour over methods, I'm going to pre-wet the filter just to give it a rinse. I'll be back. All right, we'll tear that off. Coffee goes in, 16 grams of freshly ground coffee. Give that a gentle distribution, and then I'll use my little needle here to fluff that up. Tear that off, and let's go. Starting with a bloom of 50 grams. We'll wait 30 seconds. Pouring a little bit quicker now. My coffee's floating quite a bit, so I'm just pouring on top of the coffee in a spiral motion to try and draw that underneath and encourage that to sink. So I'm up now to 200 grams and we're at 1 minute. Now pour the last 40 grams. Right, aiming for a final drawdown of 1 minute 40. Alrighty, let's see how we've done. Forgot a cup. Amazing. Okay, so here's our glass. All right. How are we? How are we, origami? I mean, yeah, for me, it's just so pretty. It's just so delightful and beautiful to brew on. And I think also, if you're the unfortunate, or must I say very fortunate person to have discovered specialty coffee in your life, but if you're the only person in your friends group to have done so far, then this might help in convincing people. It's just so pretty. We all like beautiful things. They'll look at you brewing that and they'll be like, wow, that's so pretty. What are you doing? And you're saying, I am brewing coffee. Wow. And they're like, wow, that's the end of my story. So yeah, it could potentially bring more people into our world, and the more people that appreciate and love coffee and are demanding better things in this world, the better. So awesome. I like it. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Again, lovely to brew with, delightful, delicious. I love the origami. Cool. Lovely. Well, thank you for coming with me on this little origami journey. It's been fun to brew a recipe with you. And yeah, hope you'll join us again next week. Any questions, feel free to pop them down below and I'll do my best to answer those. Have a beautiful day. Bye.